Susie with Simply Creative Pages here. Somebody said that they wanted to see a layout using a lot of Creative Memories tools. So I'm going to show you a 2-page layout, including a very creative border, using all of this. Stay tuned. My mom is getting on in years, and I wanted to scrapbook and document a few things. I wanted to document her infamous or famous peach cobbler recipe and done in her handwriting, and I just wanted to pick a picture of her. So it's going to be just a one picture, one thing layout. You could easily get more pictures on here, but that's just what I've chosen to do, to just kind of honor my mom. Here she is with my youngest grandson. And then here's her peach cobbler recipe. I don't care if you copy it. It's delicious. It's easy, which is what I'm all about. Quick and easy. So let's get started. For this border, which looks really complicated, it's just using a couple easy tools and then piecing them together to make it look like it's something fancy. I asked GPT to come up with a title and a few embellishments because peach cobbler is kind of hard to find in things at stores, and I wanted it to look old because my recipe has been well loved, as you can see. There's food stains on it. I've got another copy of it that I can continue to use in my recipe book. But I just wanted this to look old and antique and just give it a little bit of character. So to do this border, which is where we're going to start, I took some avocado green. Let me get this out of the way here. Let's see, I took the avocado green, and I took this now discontinued punch, Baking Fun border punch. And it's got rolling pins and spatulas and measuring spoons and a measuring cup, and it repeats the border over and over again. So let me just pop that open. And I just did this along 12 inches here. To use these border punches, you line it up your first cut with this line here on either side, depending on, if you're right-handed or left-handed or which direction you'd like to go. So I'm gonna line that up and push it all the way in so it hits the back of this border punch here, and press down. Then when you pull it out, you line up the picture on the other end to know where to cut again. Oops, there we go. You see how I've lined this picture up here? I don't know if you can see that. So you want to make sure it all gets all the way in. Come down, line it up. Oops, wrong spatula. I'm lining it up with the wrong spatula. There we go. Just keep going till the end. There we go. I've cut the border out. And then it leaves punch poo. I've got perfectly little punch spoons and spatulas and measuring cups and rolling pins and measuring spoons. So you can keep those if you want. Those would be cute in a shaker card at Christmas. If you wanted to put those in there and have those shake up. I've used a couple on my layout here as some embellishments. So I'm just going to set those aside. And then I cut this using my paper trimmer. Did I cut this at? I probably should measure rather than guess, huh? I cut that at exactly 2 inches because I wanted a little bit of a lip to add a ribbon embellishment to. I'm just going to slide that along there. I don't know about you, but I have so much ribbon that if I think I used ribbon on every single layout, I would still have ribbon to spare. And then I also did a little 1/4 inch trim piece for the bottom. There we go. Set those aside. And I've got plenty of avocado after 2 cutouts and 2 trim pieces to map my pictures. If you use thin enough and flat enough ribbon, you should be able to use your tape runner right on it. Oops, I'm wasting. Nobody likes to waste tape runner. There we go. Just gonna flip that around. Right about there. See, and then that stays pretty good. Get the tape runner off of my mat. Now I always take ribbon and run it, when I'm using ribbon, and run it along the back side to secure it down from my page. So that it doesn't fray at the ends, because you don't want it to fray up on your pages years later. So see how that just kind of wraps around the end, and that'll keep that from fraying. All right, there's one part of it done, and I've used up all of that brown ribbon except for one little piece, which would be cute on a card. Next, I have this very, very pretty floral paper and some pretty plaid paper. This floral paper was from the Garden Goddess collection from Graphic 45 from 2018. So I'm shopping my stash here, guys. I'm getting rid of some old paper. I took each of these and I cut each of these at 4 inches. And then in the middle of the 4 inches, I used this wavy blade on one of them. And because I used 4 inches on each side, I've already cut these because I used one on the one side. So here's the wavy blade. There we go. I was like, hang on, that's not matching up. So as you can see, I cut the 4 inches down the middle, and this is my leftover piece. And then I took this old trimmer, which doesn't have the same wave. It has a different wave. So you can use this in conjunction. And it did the same thing, 4 inches. And this is what was left over from my 4 inches, and I cut this right down the middle. And this is what it left me, this pretty wave here. Now with these 2 wave pieces, I just alternated them to give them kind of a hills and valley. I did take my ink, my Rich Cocoa Memento ink, and I just went along the edge all the way around on the top one, and then just on the bottom, on this bottom piece, and then I connected these. Whatever you think looks good. I gave it about that much distance. Isn't that pretty? All right, and this, we're almost done. Almost done with a really pretty border. Next, I took my Creative Memories border punch cartridge, border maker, and popped in my cartridge. This was a cartridge that was only available through an advisor, and unfortunately it's not available anymore, which is too bad because it gives it this really pretty lace look. And I just used white. Let me get rid of this here. So we're done with that. I just used plain old white, but then I antiqued it with my ink. Pop that in there, fold the flap down. And I've shown you this a couple of times, so it might be getting boring and repetitive, but these teeth fit into these little guides. Plus you can match this notch up here with these notches right here. Just as a double check to make sure you've got it in there right. You slide it right between here, and you can tell when it's not in. It kind of snaps down in. There we go. And then just punch all the way down. Oh, that messed up. I don't know why it did that, because I didn't have it in there right, huh? Good thing I'm gonna have some embellishments cover that up. There we go, that piece is done. Next, I just used some scrap paper to put underneath it because I didn't want to get ink all over everything. Then in circular motions, I just kind of go in, start making circles before I touch my paper. I'm just antiquing it up. A lot of different ink colors. I could easily add a lighter brown to kind of give it some contrast to make it look a little more dimensional. When you scrapbook, this is your page. You do it however you would like. You like fancier pages, do them fancier. You like simpler pages, do them simpler. There's no judgment here. See how that just gave it some character? Cut off that little smudge there, a little extra piece, and there, because I didn't get it pushed in correctly. Alright, I'm going to push that out of the way. So I'm probably going to ink some more and get that out again. And then this piece I just used right at the top of here. I'm going to turn that around there. I only used part of it on my tape. I didn't have the double border showing, I just had the part of it showing, so I just wanted it to be like lace. I just wanted it to look like lace. Which is funny because I'm also using lace. Boop. And once we get that pinned down, those ribbon pieces will stay down really good. Now that's a wide border, but that's okay. Border done. And mounting it on some peach Creative Memories cardstock. And this side, I did the top at the other one, but this side I wanted to do the going down the side to give it a little bit of a contrast. Oops, get that out of the way. Just gonna run that down the side. I'm just gonna leave a little bit of a peach border there. All right, and again, I'm almost done. Here's some pretty lace I found in my collection that I wanted to use. And so I'm gonna just run this. I'm gonna run a nice wide strip across the bottom, because that's where I'm gonna put my 1/4 inch avocado. Down here at the bottom, and then I'm gonna run the lace on top of it. Help if I get that to the edge there. There we go. Boop. And see if it's thin enough lace. It's not going to take up a lot in my scrapbook. It's very thin. That tape runner will hold that down just fine. I'm gonna run some in the back, wrap it around. And I have some tear tape that until I get this in my scrapbook, I will probably use my tear tape and hold those pieces down until I get it secure. All right, and then here's some pretty embellishments that ChatGPT made me. This piece of peach cobbler, a little fake recipe. But I also want to mat my mom Here's a 4x6 photo of her, so I want to cut 4 1/4 because I like a nice 1/4 inch around there. So I'm going to cut 4 1/4 by 6 1/4. Now the new paper trimmers, you don't have to fold this out. It goes to 6 1/2 inches. Isn't that awesome? Do I sound like I'm jealous and envious? Because I am. That is probably next on my major purchase list. There we go. And then I want to have some avocado behind that. Oh, that's going to be pretty. And green's her favorite color. So now I'm going to go 4 1/2. You could do 1/16 inches if you wanted to. I just want a nice wide surround around my photos. And I still have plenty of paper. Like I said, I might make a pretty card with this green and this peach. These pretty flowers. If you would have asked me, do you have any peach paper in your collection? I would have said, gosh, no. Ew, I don't like peach. I had it organized under green. And when I flipped it over, I'm like, well, that will work. That will work just fine. Put my mom right down here in the middle, leaving lots of room to journal about her recipe. ChatGPT and I have become good friends. He's helped me design a couple of pages and a couple of logos. And see, I'm just going to cover that mistake right up. You're not even going to know it's there. I wanted to make another rolling pin, so I'm going to set this aside. Oh, there's my other. I thought I had another pretty, but I'm going to use that with the rolling pin. So I wanted a big rolling pin, and of course, you know, nobody's got rolling pin punch. Maybe somebody has a rolling pin punch. I don't have a rolling pin punch. So I wanted to use, again, using more tools, I thought I could make a rolling pin using this big rectangle. So this is the 4-inch rectangle. This is the 6-inch rectangle. I used my blue blade on the inside, so that's going to cut it the smallest. Line that right up, make sure it's gonna cut on the paper still. It's so cheap when it comes to paper. God forbid I pull out fresh paper, huh? I think that cut all the way through. Nope, it did not. Every time. I always tell you, check it before you pull it up. And then I don't do what I say. That's okay. There we go. See, that's about the right size that I wanted. But then I wanted it to have a wood grain, and I had this embossing folder in my card collection. I thought, all right, well, that'll make it look like wood. So I'll be right back while I go emboss that. I'll show you a quick trick. Okay, sorry for clearing my throat so much. I spent the weekend outdoors a lot. I'm sure you did too. It was the 4th weekend, and the cottonwoods are blooming around here, and those always get me. They always kick up my allergies. So I've run this through the embossing folder. See how that's given me just a nice wooden pattern. But of course that wasn't enough. I had to do more. So to give it a little more depth, I take my little teardrop memento ink I'm gonna very lightly, oh, let's get my scrap paper so I don't get ink everywhere. Very lightly rub it across the top and it'll catch those ridges. See that just darkened that up a little bit and just made that look a little more like wood? And I thought I spent, I don't know, probably an hour looking for a handle. And I didn't have anything. And then I saw my Christmas light punch. And I thought, all right, let's give that a try. Why not? So, oh, put that paper on the floor. So I punched out 2 of them. And then I played with it and 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 tried every configuration I could and just couldn't get it right. I thought, well, that doesn't look right. That looks goofy. And that looks, you know, no rolling pin has a big fat handle. So I just decided to trim it. Thought, all right, I'm just going to trim it straight down from these little wood pieces, from these little notched handles. There we go, there's one. There's 2. And then of course I wanted to antique those up a little bit too. My mom turned 83 this year. Not that I'm trying to, you know, make this look ancient or anything, but just thought making it look a little more antique would be fun. All right, and then a little bit of tape runner. And I just kind of eyeballed it until I was happy there. There's one side. There's 2 sides. Rolling pin. At least I think it looks like a rolling pin. All right, I'm going to add that to my creation up here. Kind of put it underneath the photo a little bit. And add this little peach piece right on top. And tuck this one just kind of underneath here a little bit. Go tuck it like that. Oh, and I forgot to round my corners. Well, repositionable tape to the rescue, right? Just pop that up, peel that off. Because again, I'm old enough to remember that all of the photos back in the 70s all had rounded corners. I don't know why that was a thing, but it was. And a cool thing about this corner rounder, and this is still available on the website, is it's a 2-way corner rounder. Give me just a second, I'll show you what I mean. Oh yeah, that's better. That's better. That's how I wanted that to look. It's still got the sticky on it. Perfect. There we go. That is as decorated as I want that to be. this two-way corner rounder I wanted to show you. So it rounds the corners on this end, but when you flip it around this end, it cuts into. So you can make really cool tags. Isn't that neat? I can punch a hole in there and then cut it off there, and I've got a really cute tag. Or I can cut it and do it on the other end, and then I've got a very pretty frame for a saying or a title or a journal box. It just gives you that extra option. And the best part about Creative Memories corner rounders is they've got this little catch on the bottom. It catches all the trash. Look at that. That's from a lot of corner rounding. So don't have little pieces all over your table. Oops, that's popping up. That's why I said I was probably gonna, until I could get it in the scrapbook, I'll take that down. There we have it. 2-page layout, quick, easy border if you just want the cute border. Done in no time. I think that's pretty. I think that's a great way to honor my mom. And just to keep that memory alive of her giving me the recipe and us making peach cobbler together. And when I was a kid, I used to think that was the most complicated recipe ever, and turns out it wasn't, but it's delicious and one of my favorites. Thank you for joining me. My name is Susie. I'm an independent Creative Memories advisor. If you do not have an advisor, I would love it if you shopped my link below. If you ever need anything, just message me, holler. Love to hear from you. Thank you for tuning in today.